Robin, you're live now.
Hi everyone, my name is Robin Turnings. I'm founder CEO of the Startup Buddy. Welcome to our 7th edition of Founder Investor Speed Day. Which investors, startups, etc. So the Startup Buddy is Singapore's online startup building and fundraising platform. We currently have a little bit over 2,000 founders and 850 investors in our network worldwide. We provide a platform for founders and entrepreneurs to build from ideation all the way to fundraising a new business using a lot of knowledge from places like Silicon Valley mixed in with very practical steps like how to market your company, etc. Our long-term goal is to build the Startup Buddy into a global startup equity trading platform, which means that we want to enable all of you to sell your shares once you start fundraising through the Startup Buddy and find investors this way. And I'm very excited to show you the first step in this because last weekend we launched the investor game, and I'm going to show this to you a little bit live. I've told you about this a couple of times before, and as of last weekend, startups can log in, all of you, so it doesn't matter what your membership status is, and start selling virtual shares in your businesses. As you see here on my screen, I've currently sold one of my shares, and it's very simple to do. You just go here, you click an amount of shares that you want to sell and a price that you're setting. Once an investor has actually done so, you can go to My Shares and you can see what currently the valuation of your company is. You can see if there's other transactions waiting. Investors can also bid for your shares, which I will show in a second how it works on the investor side. And based on the valuation on the Startup Buddy, we rank the visibility of the different startups. What we hope to achieve this way is get a first sense of how popular companies are compared to each other, to help entrepreneurs understand how fundraising works and what they need to think about, how valuation works, etc. And we also want to connect you more to each other, the investors to the startups. We have been doing so already for a longer time through the events like the one that you're attending today, but now you can do continuously on the platform as well. This is live right now. I'll show the investor side of the platform as well. Next week or the week after, there will be a test event, and I really like to invite all of you to join into that. What we're going to do is basically set this up as a game with a ranking, etc. We'll have quite a lot of investors, especially a lot of new investors that were very excited when I told them about these new features on the platform, like No Such Ventures, Peak Capital, Vikers Ventures. They will all join in. The event will be for about 2 hours. And for us, we really want your feedback. If you want to join into that test event, just drop us an email or a WhatsApp or let us know that you want to join. And when we have decided the time and etc., then we'll just send you an invite. You don't have to be a member. There's no strings attached. You're helping us by joining in. Like I said, I will show you also quickly how it looks from the investor side. So this is my investor account. You see different companies here. And here you see that these companies are currently not offering their shares yet. That's why the buy button is not available. But I can offer as an investor to buy their shares anyway. Companies that have actually put in an offer, which probably is my own company only at the moment, will have a buy button. And once as an investor I've decided to buy a business, it will show up here under my portfolio. For the investors, I know that quite a few that are joining in today actually have different team members using our platform as well. What I really like to encourage you to do is form a team, because then you can share your portfolio. It's very simple. Just go here to My Team, put in the name of your colleague and their email address, and then you can have a joint portfolio and share the different startups that you're interested in. Like I said, we have built this because we want to become an online financial planning platform and equity trading platform. This is our MVP to start requesting MAS to get licensed to start doing the equity trading with real money. So I'm really excited about this. I know there's a lot of stuff we can improve. Please let us know what you think that should be. I always share more news about the Startup Buddy, and there's really a lot that there is to share at the moment. So last month we had our first, sorry, I'm losing my notes here. Last month we had our first Founders Fusion, and in itself that was already a very successful event, which is obviously is great. But even more exciting, and what we didn't really expect, the first joint startup, meaning that somebody found a co-founder, has already resulted from that. I was really excited to hear that, because typically finding your co-founder is very, very difficult. It's taken me 9 months before I found somebody that believed in what I was believing and wanted to work with me. There's also been other matches with mentors, etc., etc. We're repeating Founders Fusion every other month. So 1 month it's speed dating, the other 1 month Founders Fusion. But it's really cool to see that this is working. Today, as you might have noticed, Founder Investor Speed Dating is slightly different from the previous editions. Last year, we only had the one-to-one matches between the founders and the investors, but we had quite some feedback from you guys that it would be interesting to also have some content added to it. And on top of that, the benefit is that you don't have to listen to me all the time. So that's what we're doing today for the first time. Today is the Vietnam edition. We'll have the Indonesia edition in April. The idea for the country editions is not so much that only startups from those countries are allowed to participate, or only investors that are interested in those countries are allowed to participate. But we'll make sure that we always have a pitch from those countries, from an interesting startup, and 1 or 2 speakers that can share a little bit of knowledge about that. So that you can learn also about other ecosystems that you might want to do business in, or invest in, or work together with. We're starting with Vietnam today, and the choice for Vietnam was quite simply because I got very curious about the country. 4 or 5 years ago, you heard virtually nothing yet about startup ecosystem in Vietnam, and the past 3 years, all of a sudden, it came up really quickly. In 2019, it even overtook Singapore as the second most invested country in Southeast Asia. There's been a lot of dynamic there. I've heard a lot of different reasons why that can be, but we have a speaker later, Saba Bundik, that can share a lot more about that, why that is. There's by now already 1.6 thousand tech startups in Vietnam. Partly that has to do because there's a lot of very good skilled people there, and basically because of all of this, we thought Vietnam is a very interesting country to start with. The top active investors in Vietnam. Last year, there was over $800 million of investment in different startups, according to Crunchbase. The top ones that invested in there were IDG Ventures, 500 Startups, Vina Capital, Alps Ventures, and Vietnam Investment Groups. 500 Startups is also here today. I know that a lot of the investors that are joining in today also have 1 or more portfolio companies in Vietnam. So you're probably a little bit lower in these rankings as well. But basically, the interest is really big, especially, by the way, by Singapore investors. I read Singapore apparently currently is the second biggest investor in startups in Vietnam, after Korea, I think. Also, the government is doing a lot. There's different programs that have been set up either by the national government or by the different universities. Hanoi University has a new incubator program, BK Holding, I think it's called. There's the Mekong Business Initiative. There's the program called SpeedUp. Some of these programs have budgets attached to it. So the government is really trying to push for this and make things work. And some very interesting companies have already come out of this. I understood when I was reading up on this, there have not really been unicorns yet, which is kind of the holy grail for all of us. But the companies that you see here, Momo, Sendo, etc., are basically gearing up towards that level. I think we're sharing either the deck on the chat or otherwise we'll share it afterwards. The links for where we got this from are in here. There's a really good report that I've been mentioning here. Okay, sorry, it fell off my screen. If you want to know more about this, you really should read up on it. So that's why we decided to do the first edition on Vietnam. We're going to have some other people that actually are from Vietnam and know way more about this than I do, and that are going to share their knowledge with you. But of course, we also do what we always do. We have the one-on-one meetings. Now, something strange happened this round. And I really want to know from everybody who's joining today why you think that is. Until this edition, we always had a lot more startups as investors, and we had to puzzle how to put together the schedule. All of a sudden, this round, it flipped entirely the other way around, and we have a lot of investors. I'm guessing it's because the theme is Vietnam, and we don't have as many startups. So we have decided not to connect you one-to-one, but one-to-two. Meaning that every startup, every round is meeting two investors at the same time, because we don't want to waste your time sitting around and doing nothing. So in a minute, I'll show you the schedule, who's meeting who. But basically, this time around, the startups have a table, your logo and your name is on it. And I request all the investors to join the table of that startup that you're scheduled with. In between rounds, I'm not going to tire you with updates on the schedule because we're not going to do that today. I think there's so many investors today, so even if somebody didn't show up, I've not been able to check yet, but if somebody is not here, it should still be fine. So I'm not rescheduling. We're using the time in between the rounds for you guys to get something to drink if you want to. Around about 2 hours. So we'll finish around 6 o'clock Singapore time and about 7 o'clock Singapore time, 6 o'clock Vietnam. For those who are new, a few details about how all of this works. First of all, like I already said, when I close off this central session, you go back to it's called the lounge, and you will see virtual tables. Every virtual table has 3 different seats. 1 for the founder, 2 for the investors. I'm asking the startups to go to their specific table. So again, I know that a lot of you have been here before, and normally you had to join the investor, now it's the other way around. Your name is also there. If you have problems, any of you have problems, there's also a table called the Startup Buddy Networking table. A few of my colleagues are there. Just sit there and then they can help you live and answer any questions. Then, of course, there's a chat on the right side of your screen. Please don't message me. There's 3 other colleagues of mine. I typically am too busy hosting you guys. So usually I find out that a lot of you have been messaging me at the end of the session. If you have a question, if you want to know something, just put it on the chat to any of my teammates. They can all help you. If it's not related to the event right now, you can always email or WhatsApp me after the event, and then I will reply you when all of this is over. So I'm not ignoring your chat, I'm just too busy. Then, if you have technical problems, the AirMeet tech support is really good. AirMeet is a platform from India. We've been using it, I think, since last July. Their tech support is live during our sessions, and you can find it under the purple button that you find on the right bottom corner of your screen. Then the startups for today. We have 5 startups, Oxstreet, Super, Cohydra, Collabdine, and Digital Blue Phone. Cohydra is from Vietnam and will be pitching today, so I'm not going to introduce them because they're going to introduce themselves much better than I can. Super is an e-commerce platform from Indonesia. Oxstreet is a startup from Singapore that has developed a platform to trade sneakers, which is very hot in a few Southeast Asian countries. Collabdine is a religious community platform, also based in Singapore. And Digital Blue Phone is a software as a service solution for architects, also based in Singapore. These are all really, really cool founders. I know all of them pretty good. So I think all investors are gonna enjoy talking to them. Then the investors, and this list is not entirely complete because we literally still had registrations 1 hour before the event, and I didn't have time to put that all in a slide anymore. But we have a really good group of investors, partly from Vietnam, partly from other places. So we have Big Capital Group, we have Cocoon, we have Systema Asia Capital, Viet Accelerator, Velocity Ventures, Syncto Innovate, Quest Ventures, Visa, and blackout because your name is not on the logo. My apologies for that. This one came in very early, very late, so I will correct that in a minute. Then what does the schedule look like? And you don't have to memorize this. I will show it in between the sessions too. So as you can see here on the screen, there's 2 investors meeting 1 startup. So for example, Oxstreet, the founder is Gijs Verheijken. In the first round, you're meeting Quest Ventures and Velocity Ventures. Super is meeting B Capital Group, and let me see, Season Capital. And sorry, Longdo, I couldn't come up with Season Capital just now. Collabdine is meeting Cocoon Capital and AgroCorp International. We always match the startups with the investors, but since we have so many investors this time, I'm aware there's a little bit weirder matches here. We still thought this is better use of your time than sitting around. You can also, of course, decide not to join the startup and roam around, but we have scheduled everybody. So there, other than at the end of the program, there should not be anybody else to network with. Then Digital Blue Phone, you're meeting Syncto Innovate and Big ID Ventures. Cohydra first round is meeting Saba Bundik from Viet Accelerator, but he's also an angel investor, and Visa, which is a Vietnamese accelerator. I have not checked if everybody is here. You can check yourself under the attendees if you're missing one of the names. I like to meet some of the investors too, because some of you I've never met myself. So the first round, I was planning to meet Systema, Edward, and let me see who else. Yeah, 500 startups only registered very last minute, so you're not in here. You're basically welcome to join a table if there's a seat free, and the first round, I would suggest we can get to know each other. So that's it for round 1. That was my introduction. You won't be hearing me talk this much anymore the rest of the session, don't worry. We'll have much more interesting people. I hope you have a very good first round of meetings. It's now 5:26. Each round is 20 minutes. So we're gonna see each other again at 4:45 Singapore, 4:45 Vietnam time. Enjoy the first round. No, it should be okay.
Yeah, good.
So,
Hi,
Okay.
Robin.
Hi, everyone. Doris and Camille, can you go away from the stage, please?
How do I do that? It just got me here.
Go back to the lounge. Doris also, go to the lounge. Or Sakshi, kick him off the stage, please. Hi, everyone. I hope you had a good first round. We're going to do a 10-minute intermezzo with Saba Bundik. Saba is originally from Hungary, but he's been in Vietnam for a very, very long time. I'm not going to do a full introduction of him because I'm going to ask you to do it yourself. He has a perspective of an investor and also of an entrepreneur. If any of you have questions to him, please put them in the questions on the right side. You see a question box there. Just type your question there, and then I will mix them in with the questions that I've prepared. And Darvis, please get off the stage. Saba, can you please introduce yourself?
Okay, hello guys, good morning. Xin chào for everyone in Vietnam. Yeah, indeed, I have been here in Vietnam for quite a long time, 13 years on and off. I came over here first time 2008. And make the long introduction very short. I have two main things to do, or like two main area to operate. One is in Europe, one is in Vietnam and Southeast Asia. In Europe, yeah, I was an entrepreneur, IPO 2013. In the last couple of years, I'm a member of the investment board of the biggest deep tech fund in Europe. It's called European Innovation Council's Accelerator. We have 3 billion euros to spend all over the European Union. In Vietnam, I used to be the director of the European Chamber of Commerce. Then I set up I'm setting up things. So the first ever Central and Eastern European Chamber of Commerce. I was part of this Finnish-Vietnamese innovation partnership program. So I was a mentor. I was running a model incubator. I used to run UNDP social impact incubator. I recently set up a specialized incubator in central Vietnam, in Hoi An. Helped to set up Viet Accelerator as a business angel network. Also, I'm a co-initiator of the ASEAN Angel Alliance. So I have a kind of good overview of what is going on in Europe, and I can make the comparison to Vietnam. That's my background basically. So entrepreneurship, business incubation. I wrote my MBA about business incubation. Studied in the US. So that's basically the very brief introduction.
Okay. Well, basically the summary is you have a lot of different experiences. So you know Vietnam very well as an outsider, but as an insider as well.
Yeah, this is how I lost my hair. So when I came like 13 years ago, I still had, but ease of doing business in Vietnam.
Oh, really? Okay, that's not too encouraging. Let me see if you can explain more about it. So first question to go more into detail. I'm obviously a foreign entrepreneur. If I plan to start doing business in Vietnam for the first time, do you have some tricks and things that I shouldn't be doing that you learned over the years that everybody should know? Maybe they're culturally, business-wise, how to interact with agencies, things like that.
So yeah, that was the bread and butter at EuroCham and the Chamber. So we are helping newcomers to come to Vietnam and do business here. Especially we tell them how not to do business here. Because it's different. So it's a very big country, especially from the European perspective, 100 million people, growing brilliantly. Despite COVID, the GDP is still like 2.6%. So where everyone else, every other countries are falling, Vietnam is still growing. Vietnam is the winner of the US-China trade war. Vietnam is signing a lot of free trade agreements all over the world. So the economy is really good. So that's a good thing. The second is, I told you it's not easy to do business, but it's very exciting because of the big market, because of a lot of opportunities, a lot of changes. So the country is changing every single day, very, very rapidly, a lot of opportunities. However, it's highly network based. So you have to have the right contact for everything, the right lawyer, the right accountant, the right someone at the local authority. It's highly contextual. So you have to be able to establish your own network, and it takes time and energy. And you need partners here. So like you team up with someone, and you have to commit here. You have to have your presence here. So you have to show that you respect the country, you respect the culture, and high level commitment. And the first like recognition comes like after 1 year. Like, oh, okay, you are still here. You didn't give up. Now, okay, maybe we can sit together and we can talk. We can work together.
Yeah. Okay. And do you have like an anecdote or a story that you have experienced in the past 12 years that if somebody had just told you to do it differently, you wouldn't have had to make that mistake?
Well, we have bunch of investors here. Like, even the due diligence, we know it's not the same here. You need to change the kind of, I call it the Western type of due diligence into the right context. So we don't have Dun & Bradstreet database here to check what you done like 10 years ago, how many company you went to bankrupt with. So you have to find someone in the network who knows your business partner, and you can do some kind of cross check. How we lost our first money here 13 years ago? We were not completely stupid, of course. We invested in a gentleman who spent 25 years in Hungary. He has a 10 square kilometer sized private island in north part of Halong Bay, Audi Q7 just like 2 months after it was released. So all the status symbols, like what you are looking for from a successful business person, it was there. But we didn't know how to do the local due diligence, so we lost a couple of hundreds of thousands of dollars because the numbers were like okay-ish, ambitious, but fine. It could be okay. Obviously, we expect that. Like, we would like to see the hockey stick, anyways, right? So we didn't know how to do the background check, the proper background check, and obviously all the money gone.
And in hindsight, do you know, like, if you do the same check now, what is like something specific? You've been in Vietnam for a long time, so I guess your network is much better. That probably helps. But is there more that you can do to avoid mistakes like that?
Yeah, you sure. I mean, you have to. I mean, you can clearly ask around, like who else you do business with, and some, I don't know which venture capital firm is that from Singapore, but they declare that they do some kind of like mystery call. So they find someone in your network and they don't tell you they will call you, or they call your network. They do it like in the background. So you have to talk to the people who know your potential partner and get the feedback, even if it's positive or negative. And this is very, very necessary. We didn't do that. I mean, we were just come with the Western mindset. We say that like this gentleman speaks fluent Hungarian, very successful. He will help us to know how to do business here. He did help.
Okay. We also have a lot of startups on the call, except one. They are not from Vietnam. Let's say, for example, Digital Blue Foam. They're a SaaS platform for architects. I know there's a lot of development in Vietnam right now. For them to enter a market like Vietnam, again, obviously building the network. But is there other things that you need to keep in mind, for example, language or size of the country? I don't know.
Size of the country is fine. 100 million people, so it's really, really big in every context. Language, folks in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City under 30, they speak very good English, so it's not really a problem. We have like tens of thousands, probably even hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese students abroad coming back to Vietnam. They're looking for opportunities. That's one of the reasons behind this kind of boom you mentioned in your intro, why we have more and more startups, because the Vietnamese dream has changed. So in the former generation, the parents told the kids, okay, go to a bank, go to a state-owned company, go to somewhat like a big Western company because it's stable, they give you the salary, and you will have the alternatives, the benefits, which is very relevant here. And it has changed. So people are coming back from the US, from UK, Western countries. They are under the influence of entrepreneurship. We have a couple of good cases you already mentioned. These folks made money. So they got investment. Some of them are in the stock exchange. And this kind of Vietnamese dream has changed a lot. because to have like $200-400 monthly salary after having a good master degree from the US, for example, it doesn't motivate you at all. So people know that they can set up their own business. If they are successful, they will be financially very successful. So sure, that just to answer the question, if anyone want to come here, find the right partner. Don't try to do it on your own because it takes too much time. And as a startup, you don't have time.
Okay, that's very concrete advice. And basically, you're saying the American dream is now sort of the Vietnamese dream as well.
Sure. Even the government wants to have 1 million companies here, and they were in the right track before COVID. Obviously, the economy is growing nicely, but obviously, like 50% of the companies have problem with liquidity, with cash flow management. So it's still not easy, but despite the very negative impact of COVID, the economy is still okay.
Okay. I have one question coming in. Where time is going really quickly, like always. First of all, for everybody who's watching and listening, after the 3 rounds of meetings, there's also open networking. So please all stay till the end, and then you can meet whoever you weren't matched up with, including Saba. Chin is here also from Visa. So there's more people who know the ecosystem in Vietnam. The question that came in on the chat: should founders target low-hanging fruits or sharpen on-core products for long-term fruits? I think what Fateh is asking, should you go for the easy wins first, or should you go in for the long term?
Should. I mean, you want to convince your colleagues, you want to convince your spreadsheet. You have to convince everyone around you what you are doing is profitable and it can make money. So obviously, why not take the low-hanging fruits? In parallel, obviously, don't give up everything. So just because of the immediate successes, don't give up on long term. To find the right balance, because you want to stay in the market. Yeah. So you have to have early traction. So it makes your life easier for whatever investor you will talking to. If you have a good traction, it makes your life much easier. If you say that like you will start to make income a couple of years later because you have a long-term vision, they will say that maybe a grant meets your financial need better than a venture capital investment.
Okay. I have one more question, and then sorry guys, but we really have to move on to round 2. Question 2 is from Chin. How do you think startups can capture values from the increasing trade partnerships?
It comes with a lot of benefit because the trade partners try to bring their technologies. They have the technology, and Vietnam has the market. So that's one of the shortage here. In Vietnam, we still don't have too much competition on technology. That's the next big thing, to find the good tech, bring to Vietnam, implement, and use it. That will be a next big wave here. Before, we have to reach a certain level of maturity and professionalism in terms of management, because the companies here, they know how to do business in Vietnam, but it's not international level. I'll give you one example, it will be very short. I was an advisor for a top 50 website a couple of years ago. They wanted me to help find investor. So I was asking for the investor relation materials, like business plan. Business plan was not ready. So I was asking some basics like cash flow or whatever. It was not ready. So I sit together with the chief accountant and I asked some basics like, okay, how much is the monthly burn rate? How much is the monthly income? Where is the money? Some kind of like petty cash basics. And the chief accountant would say that I really don't have a clear picture about how much money we have. So it was like, what kind of chief accountant you have? And I had to learn that to receive the company's income on the personal bank account of the founder is a common issue here. So good luck to you.
Okay.
One example. So we have to go after this, reach the next level of maturity and reach the international levels, and then the tech wave will be the next big thing here.
Okay, I can see the other attendees, but I think a lot of your investor colleagues are currently scratching their head after you just said that. So, Saba, I really want to thank you for sharing your experience and knowledge. It's always very, very short. Everyone, Saba is here for their other rounds too. Some of you have been matched with him. We're going to round 2. I will show on the screen quickly the program for round 2. Sorry, I have so many screens that now I'm stuck. Just a second, guys. Yes. So there's 3 investors that I didn't see in the previous round, so I assume they're still not here. B Capital Group, I didn't see. Velocity Ventures, I didn't see. And Systema Asia Capital, I didn't see. So the founders that are matched with them, you will have 1 investor instead of 2 in round 2. Same in round 3. I suggest that all of you now make a screenshot if you cannot quickly find yourself. I'm not updating the schedule, so it will stay the way it is. So if you make a screenshot, you can quickly check if you're wondering. We're now going to round 2 of the one-to-one meetings. It's 6 minutes past 6. So this round will be till 26 minutes past 6 Singapore, 26 minutes past 5. See you after round 2. Bye-bye. Okay, hi everyone. I hope round 2 was a success for all of this time. Here is a pitch by Ken.
Thank you, Robin, for having me today. And today I would like to present to you Beta Farm, which is our greenhouse company that is developing next generation greenhouse in the Southeast Asia. As Robin introduced, we were introduced as Quadra. So indeed, we have 2 companies. So I would like to quickly introduce Quadra. So Quadra is a machine learning IoT company for controlled environment agriculture. It's actually based in the US, but we do have a development team in Vietnam. And Quadra is currently providing the autonomous greenhouse solutions to some of the top greenhouses in the US and Canada. So, but for the rest of this presentation, I would like to talk about Beta Farm, which is our new venture. And so I will talk about why we are doing it, what we are doing, and how we can achieve our expected results. So why greenhouse? Why high-tech greenhouse? So I hope that this slide makes sense to you, because high-tech greenhouse can achieve a much higher production and use less resources. So it will produce higher long-term return of investment. And the high-tech greenhouse race has already started rapidly in Asia as throughout the world, in the US, Canada, Mexico, which is very similar to Vietnam. So the greenhouse industry in Mexico is booming, as well as in China. So what is Beta Farm? Beta Farm is a high-tech greenhouse company. It's a greenhouse company enabled by the latest tech, and those latest technologies will enable us to achieve much substantially higher yield than the current benchmark in Vietnam. And for the sake of reference, about 1% yield increase can lead to 3% increase in operating profit. So 2 times increase in yield is just huge. In terms of the stage of the company, we are at the very early stage. We are developing the very first pilot greenhouse of about 2 to 3 hectares in the Dalat area, which has the elevation of 1,500 meters. So it has a cold climate, optimal for a greenhouse. So the purpose of our call for investments is to raise the capital that is needed for the first greenhouse here. And a high-tech greenhouse is capital intensive, but it also has a very high return of investment. And so the ideal of investors that we are looking for will be the ones who invest in either early stage companies or who invest as convertible bonds or who are infrastructure investors. The size that we are asking for it varies. It's between $500,000 to $2 million. So if we have $2 million, we may be able to develop a bigger greenhouse for better economy of scale. Little bit about background about myself. I started at Microsoft Research. I worked at Microsoft Research for 8 years in the machine learning division. Back in 2018, I led a team called Sonoma that actually won the International Autonomous Greenhouse Challenge, and we produced superior yield for cucumbers. And we even outperformed the respected Dutch growers with 6% higher in yield, and 17% higher in net profit. And there were a lot of articles talking about our achievements that you can Google later. So this is a very quick overview about our founding team. I'm not going to talk much about that. And this is how the technologies partners that can enable us to achieve our superior yield numbers. So with that, I would like to end my presentation here and welcome any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Ken, for your pitch. I have a couple of questions written down for everybody who's listening in. Please put your questions in the chat, and I will give those preference over my questions as soon as they come in. By the way, Ken, I'm not sure if you're aware, I'm Dutch, but I don't know anything about farming, so don't worry. Let me see. Why did you personally start this company? What triggered you as a founder to start doing this?
Yeah, so I worked at Microsoft, but in the to step out so that we can be more commercialization oriented and apply the research. So we will develop like new research to make it available to the commercial growers, and we are already helping commercial growers.
Okay, and can you tell a little bit about what your traction is so far? Do you have a prototype algorithm already? Do you have land already where you're going to do? You mentioned 1 or 2 hectares that you want to build a greenhouse. How far are you in your plans?
Yeah, so I would like to make it very clear that Coidra and Beta Farms, they are they are sisters companies, but they will be 2 independent business entities. So for Coidra, we already have some traction, and so there are some public records. For example, we are working with Harvest, which is a new greenhouse company in the US. They are building many greenhouses, many high-tech greenhouses in the Kentucky area. They have Coidra as a technology partner in their investor pitch deck. They are about $1 billion company. We are also helping some other big greenhouse companies in Canada, such as Great Lakes Greenhouses, through some grants funding, as well as Windset, who is providing vegetables, greenhouse vegetables to this very popular supermarkets like Costco, etc. Okay.
I have a question from Chin. How do you compare your solution with vertical farming in terms of, for example, cost per square meter, yield, labor intensity? Basically, how is your product better than existing vertical farming solutions?
Yeah, so we also work with some some of the top, very well-funded vertical farms companies as well, like for example, Plenty, right? So we are in discussion. We have engagement with Plenty, so we know, and also Sanan Bio. So when I started doing control environment agriculture research, I started with vertical farming first, not with greenhouse. But why? And so from Coidra's perspective, we provide solutions to vertical farming as well. But why are we investing in greenhouses in Vietnam? Because it just makes more sense to very quickly answer your question, it has higher yield, lower cost of investment. And why can it achieve higher yields? Because it can take advantage of the energy from the sunlight. The light, because lighting is very costly. And in an indoor vertical farm, the only source of lighting is from your LEDs, from the LEDs. And electricity cost is very, very high.
Just for me, I'm a little bit ignorant in this perspective. Are there a lot of greenhouses already that basically can start using your solution in Vietnam already?
There are some. However, most greenhouses in Vietnam mid-tech and low-tech greenhouses. So for example, they don't use CO2 enrichment. None of the current greenhouses in Vietnam use CO2 enrichment. So, and very basic biology can tell you that the plant's growth is a fact. You need CO2. So the more plants love CO2 for photosynthesis, right? So when you don't have a lot of CO2, there's only a limit, very limited photosynthesis. With limits your yield factor. And they don't use, most don't use supplemental light.
Okay. Then last question. We have a lot of investors today participating. I think you talked to quite a few of them already. If you can choose any investor other than that they help you fund your business, what experience or what knowledge or what network should they bring?
I believe that we know how to run a greenhouse very well, so we are very confident about that. Besides the financial investment, if they can also help on the distribution, that would be very helpful, because that is something that we have a strategy, but it's too early for us to execute or to develop deep relationships with who will consume our products.
Okay, so basically investors that have potential customers.
Or that can connect us to some buyers in Singapore, Japan, or South Korea.
Okay, clear. Can I thank you very much for pitching, and of course also for joining the Startup Buddy. I think you have two more investors in round 3. Let me quickly share my screen on the schedule as it is now. Airmeet has changed a little bit in the past few weeks, so I'm aware that sometimes you see weird stuff happening on my screen. My apologies for that. I have no idea how to fix that right now. So I hope you can see my entire screen right now. We're now going to round 3. I will quickly go from the top. So Digital Blue Foam is not meeting the Capital Group because they're not here, but you are meeting Quest Ventures. Super is meeting Cocoon and AgroCorp. Collabdine is meeting Fiat Accelerator, so Saba that we also earlier, and Visa. Coidra, Ken, who you just saw pitch, is meeting Big ID Ventures. And let me see, Velocity Ventures is not there. And then what else? Ox Street, Gijs, you're not meeting Systema because they're not here, but you are meeting where? I'm 100% sure there's more investors. I know that 500 Startups is here too, so maybe you can make sure to join Ox Street. I think there should be at least 1 or 2 more investors that can join. Maybe Long Do, you can also join Oxstreet if you didn't already meet him before. It's now 6:45 in Singapore, 6:45 in Vietnam. So this round will be till 5 minutes past 6. I'm sorry, we're running a little bit over time. After round 3, there's a quick close off, so please stay till the end. It's interesting. And after that, there's open networking, so you can still meet everybody that you didn't have a chance yet to meet. See you in 20 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, hi everyone. That was the final round for today. Thank you, as always, for joining Startup. Give me 1 second. Okay. So that was the final session for today. Thank you very much all for joining. We have our Founders Fusion again next month, to be exact, March 25th. Please join that. We really invite everybody to join. Founders Fusion is basically a one-to-one networking event similar to what you did today, but the purpose is not so much to help startups raise funding, but to help them find business partners, customers, suppliers, mentors, anybody they need to build their business. So that next one is on March 25th. You can already register right now. By the way, all our events for the whole year are on our website now. So if you like what we do, you can just register for the whole year, then you don't have to keep it in mind. The next Founder Investor Speed Dating will be on Indonesia. That's probably the 22nd of April or the 29th. We're not sure yet, but you can already register and then we'll inform you about the exact date. If you have anybody that you think that should be sharing their knowledge and expertise about the Indonesia startup ecosystem, please let us know. We have some really good partners there, like GoHive, so we'll organize this together with them. But if you have a good speaker or a startup that should pitch, just let us know, and then we see who we can fit in and who not. Setup will be similar to today. Like I said at the start, we had a lot of investors today and a few less startups. That was the first time. The other 6 times, it was exactly the other way around. We had a lot of startups and too little investors. If you can give us a clue why that was, we of course really want the investors to stay, but we also want to understand why there was less startups today. We're guessing it has something to do with the country edition or with our communication. If you have any tips or feedback, please let us know because we're here to learn. Then investor game test. If you'd like to join into that, please do. Just drop us a message, email or whatever, and we'll send you the invite. A little trick for all the startup founders. I mentioned at the start, we are going to, as of now, show all the startups that are fundraising to the investors based on their valuation in the investor game. And since we launched it only last weekend, currently it's quite easy to basically be at the top spot. Over time, the more people find out about it, the harder that will become. So I suggest log into your accounts, start offering your shares to the investors. That way you can also see who's actually interested in your company. You don't have to ask us anymore. You can see that under My Shares. It's very little work, so play around with that. And for the first few weeks, it should still be able to hack the system. Hopefully for us, for the Startup Buddy, in a few weeks from now, that will become harder and harder. That was it for today. It's 10 minutes later than we were planning, which I think is perfectly fine. That means hopefully that you had very good sessions. We are going to keep the Air Meet open for at least another half an hour. So there's open networking as of now. If you didn't speak to somebody who's still here, please just join them at any table and have a chat. That can also be other founders or other investors. I really hope to see you again in March or April. And if there's anything, please let us know. Thank you. Bye.